Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and in just days, live on the WWE Network, 4 teams will step into the ring and make history as they attempt to climb the ladder of success when the NXT UK Tag Team titles are raised high above the ring. Also, 3 women, each with personal history with each other, will step into the ring to fight for the Women's World Crown of the NXT UK brand. And finally, in the main event, it is all about who owns the top faction in NXT UK as the leader of Gallus and the leader of Imperium collide one-on-one for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. But before it's time to suspend the titles above the ring, before it is time for the battle for brand supremacy, before it is time for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II, it's time for the rundown! Thank you guys so much for tuning into yet another video right here on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. This is the official rundown for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II, which is streaming live this Sunday, January 12th on the WWE Network, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the first rundown back from my long break. I was away for 3 months, as I said on the Resurrection video, but I feel like I've been away for 3 decades. First things first, I know the lighting is bad. I'm recording this at nighttime. This is not live, even though you are seeing it premiere live. And on top of that, I am not alone. I am not alone. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today on the rundown for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II, he is a loyal member of the DJ Storms posse. He is the man whom I interviewed back at Extreme Rules 2019, and he is the co-creator, along with Eddie Mullen, of the Big Fight Feel YouTube channel. Please help me welcome Joseph Conlon. What's going on, Joseph?
Really happy to be here, guys. Happy to be a guest on the first video of the rundown for 2020. 2020 is going to be one of the best years for the DJ Storms brand, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be in this video today.
Thank you very much for joining me, Joseph. It really does mean a lot. I've wanted to collaborate with you for a while, and now we're finally doing it. This time we're talking about NXT UK, ladies and gentlemen. NXT UK and their takeovers, they always deliver. Takeover Blackpool 1 was a great show. Takeover Cardiff, fantastic show, perhaps one of, if not the best show of 2019. But now, NXT UK is looking to kick off the year with a bang. So we're going to jump straight into the matches. We got 5 matches on the card. First things first, we got Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis. Now, I'm a fan of Trent Seven. I'm a fan of Eddie Dennis. I know some people aren't really too fond of Eddie Dennis, but I don't know. I like the look that Eddie Dennis has. I do actually like what Eddie Dennis can do in the ring. He actually had a very good no DQ match against Dave Mastiff back at the first TakeOver Blackpool. When he is given the opportunity, Eddie Dennis, he can put on a good match. And at the end of the day, that's all I ask for. So I am not going to sleep on this match. I'm going to let these two, do their thing. I'm going to let them go out there and I'm going to give their match a chance. However, I'm just a little confused as to why they are fighting in the first place. Here's what happened. What happened was Trent Seven was in a match against Kona Reeves. He beat Kona Reeves on NXT UK. This was like a few weeks back. And Eddie Dennis came out of the crowd and he just shook Trent Seven's hand. And over the course of the next few weeks, Eddie Dennis was just watching Trent Seven. And then he beat up Trent Seven's opponent and then tossed him back into the ring as a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. And then Trent Seven was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go out there and call out Eddie Dennis. And he called out Eddie Dennis. And Eddie Dennis, all he did was walk out there, hit him in the head with the microphone, and say, I'll see you at TakeOver Blackpool. So Eddie Dennis hasn't specified why he's targeting Trent Seven. Now, don't get me wrong, this match could very well be great. It could very well be it could very well be the most underrated match of the night. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I don't really know why they're having this match to begin with. Matter of fact, it would have made more sense to put Ilya Dragunov and Alexander Wolf in the no DQ match that they had last week on NXT UK on TakeOver Blackpool II, especially after what they did. That match was TakeOver worthy. And if you haven't seen it, I would definitely encourage you guys to go back and watch it, because Ilya Dragunov and Alexander Wolf, they beat the shit out of each other, and that was a fantastic match from start to finish. But I don't really know why.
Go watch it then.
Yeah, you definitely have to go watch it, Joe. But I don't really know why Trent Seven and Eddie Dennis are fighting. But at the end of the day, if we get a good match, then I'm not really going to complain. Now, as far as my prediction goes, Trent Seven's expendable, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean the fact that he can take a loss. He can take a loss and he'll still be in good shape. This is Eddie Dennis's first match back from injury, so it only makes sense for Eddie Dennis to win. I don't really know where they're going with Eddie Dennis, but Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, they really need to be pushed in the tag team division, and they really need to be pushed to those tag team titles. Mustache Mountain is, without a shadow of a doubt, going to win the tag team titles in 2020. It's all a matter of when. But as far as Eddie Dennis goes, I can see him winning this match. And I'm telling you, they really need to add a mid-card title to NXT UK. You have an overabundance of people in the mid-card. You got Jordan Devlin, you got Eddie Dennis, Dave Mastiff, Noam Dar, Travis Banks, Ligero, Joseph Connors, A-Kid. They can't just be floating around doing nothing while Walter is dominating in the main event scene. NXT UK needs a mid-card title. I really hope they add that in 2020. As far as this match goes, I'm going with Eddie Dennis to win. Where he goes and where Trent Seven goes from there, I don't really know. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, again, I don't understand the point why they're fighting, but once you said why they're fighting, I get why. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Eddie Dennis on this one. I feel like, what's the point of having Trent Seven get the victory in this one? He's already established enough, in my opinion. And Eddie Dennis, he fits good in the WWE format. Like, he's tall and has charisma.
I can definitely see that. We'll see where it goes. Next, we got Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. Now, in my mind, if the ladder match was not on the card, this could very well be match of the night. This is a takeover match any day of the week. These two could easily headline any fucking pay-per-view that you put them on. This match came about because Jordan Devlin was getting in Tyler Bate's face after Tyler Bate lost to Walter. They've been building this over the course of the last few months. Jordan Devlin trying to get into Tyler Bate's head, insulting him, just mocking how Tyler Bate has been a failure since the start of NXT UK. Him and Trent Seven failed to capture the titles. Then he got beat by Walter. And Tyler Bate said, "You want me so bad? Fight me at TakeOver." And now we got this match. This match could definitely kick off the show. I can definitely see that happening. As far as the winner goes, I don't really know. I don't really have a definite answer for you on this one, considering that it could realistically swing either way. Jordan Devlin has been great, and I definitely want to see Jordan Devlin face off against Walter. Yes, I know it's heel versus heel, but after everything that Jordan Devlin has done, I mean, how can you not put Jordan Devlin in a position to fight Walter? Even though the correct man to beat Walter is Ilya Dragunov, after everything that Ilya Dragunov has done. Tyler Bate. I mean, I can't really say enough good things about Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate is fantastic in any role that you put him in, whether it be as a singles competitor or a tag team competitor. Tyler Bate, without a shadow of a doubt, is NXT UK's version of Johnny Gargano. Any match that he is in, you just want to see him pull out the victory, especially after that 5-star classic against Walter back at TakeOver Cardiff. I can definitely see him winning. I don't really think that they would go so far as to have both members of Mustache Mountain lose on TakeOver. It's a possibility. It's a possibility because you could argue that Eddie Dennis and Jordan Devlin both need wins, but at some point, I really do want to see Mustache Mountain get back in contention for the tag team titles. Because when they win the titles, it is definitely going to be a special moment. based off of everything that's happened, I can't really pick a straightforward winner right out of the gate. But you know what? I'm going to have to go with Jordan Devlin. I'm going to have to go with Jordan Devlin. I'm going to have to pick Jordan Devlin to get the victory over Tyler Bate. I can definitely see Jordan Devlin as an interim opponent against Walter before Walter's eventual match with Ilya Dragunov. But we'll definitely see what happens. I think this match is going to be a fantastic match. I think this match is going to have everything that you want in a pro wrestling match. And if you really want one match to focus on, definitely focus on this match between Tyler Bate and Jordan Devlin. How about you, Joe?
All right. Well, again, this could be one of the best matches of the night, in my opinion. I have two scenarios. This mostly, really, it's not about Jordan Devlin, but I am going to pick Jordan Devlin to win. I think he's fantastic. He's very underrated wrestler. But this could be this is my two opinions. What could happen with Tyler Bate? Number one, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven both lose at Blackpool, and this makes them go on a revenging streak, go undefeated for a few months, build momentum, and then have their big crowning moment at whenever the next takeover is, and win those tag team titles. I really think that could happen. Or what I just thought, what about this is the swan song for Tyler Bate in NXT UK?
Really? Ugh. Where would he go? Where would he go?
He would go NXT in America.
I don't know, because you take a look at NXT US and everything that they got going on there. You take a look at the overabundance of talent that they have in NXT. Where is there really realistically going to be room for a Tyler Bate outside of the Cruiserweight Championship? And right now, Angel Garza is in the midst of perhaps the best run of his entire career. And realistically, the next person to take the title off of Angel Garza would be Kushida. Kushida is definitely the next in line for the Cruiserweight Championship, but obviously Angel Garza is going to have a much longer run than many of us expect him to.
A longer run than Leo Rush did.
Yeah, I didn't really agree. I didn't really agree with taking the title off of Leo Rush after only 2 months. It didn't really make much sense for him to just drop the title after he was away for 6 months and he went on this huge comeback tour to win the Cruiserweight title from Gulak, and he lost it in 2 months. It just didn't really feel... It didn't really feel right to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for Garza. Garza's fantastic at what he does. But I just feel as though they kind of shortchanged Leo Rush. That's just kind of a side topic there. But I'll get into that when we eventually talk about the Cruiserweights on the Lightning Flash update. That will be tomorrow. Keep your eye out for that, ladies and gentlemen. But getting back to Tyler Bate and Jordan Devlin. So Tyler Bate would go to NXT US. Where would he fit in?
Maybe the mid card. Maybe
the North American Championship title scene.
Maybe.
I mean, I could definitely see that. But we did have an NXT North American Championship match this past Wednesday on NXT. But I don't know. It's definitely a toss-up. It's definitely a toss-up. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. We'll see if Roderick Strong is still North American champion after TakeOver Portland. But so you do not see Tyler Bate winning this match at all in any scenario?
I do not. No, but I do believe this is the sleeper match of the night. This is definitely the sleeper match of the night.
We definitely have some bold predictions here. Looks like he might have to take the title of Mr. Controversy, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on. We got the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match. We got Zach Gibson and James Drake, the Grizzled Young Veterans, versus Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, versus Gallus, Wolfgang and Mark Coffey, versus Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. The UK Tag Team titles will be suspended above the ring. This is the first ladder match in NXT UK history. Now, this match definitely has a lot to live up to, considering after what we saw at TakeOver 25 between Undisputed Era, Forgotten Sons, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and the Street Profits. That right there was a fantastic ladder match. I wouldn't say it was better than the North American title ladder match, but this match definitely has the potential to be just as good, if not better, than those two matches. Now, as far as the winners go, I would go with Imperium, but something is telling me that it's a little too early for Imperium. And I say this for a reason. We have Worlds Collide coming up on January 25th, before the Rumble, right? And the main event is going to be Undisputed Era versus Imperium. If Imperium wins the titles here, then they will officially have all the gold. And we're going to have a faction with all the gold versus a faction with all the gold, which would be cool and all. But at the same point in time, if you really want to make Worlds Collide a bit special, I wouldn't mind having Gallus retain, and I definitely wouldn't mind having Gallus go into Worlds Collide and defend the NXT UK Tag Team titles against an NXT US Tag Team, like Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, or the Forgotten Sons. It would definitely be innovative, and it would definitely give Gallus a longer title reign, and it would get a title match on Worlds Collide. I get that it's NXT versus NXT UK, but, what they did, what NXT and NXT UK did back in June of 2018 when they had that special on the network, you had NXT's champions defend against NXT UK superstars. You could do the same thing here with NXT UK superstars defending against NXT US superstars. You could have Angel Garza on the show as well. He could defend the Cruiserweight Championship against someone like Ligero or Travis Banks. I definitely wouldn't mind that. Either way, the top two teams that I can see walking out of this are either Imperium or Gallus. It just depends on who you go with. But I'm going with the bold prediction here. I think that Gallus is going to retain, and I think we're going to get Gallus versus an NXT US tag team at Worlds Collide, and then after Worlds Collide, then and only then will I see Imperium walking out victorious with the tag team titles. That would be Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel of Imperium, and I can definitely see them beating Gallus sometime next month for the tag team titles. I just want to see Gallus have a little bit more of a run with the titles. They only held him since October. It hasn't even been 100 days, and I'm not a fan of short title reigns. I think short title reigns really devalue the prestige of a championship. They don't really have that much meaning, and they kind of make the champions look like a bunch of one-hit wonders. Like, oh, they just got lucky this time. That's why I wasn't really a fan of Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews losing the titles to Gallus so quickly. I mean, the moment was great, and they did have a successful title defense against the Grizzled Young Veterans, but then losing it to Gallus just 2 months later, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm going to go with a bold prediction here. I'm going to go with Gallus to retain, and Gallus could go on to face an NXT US tag team on the Worlds Collide special. This match could definitely be an early match of the year contender. I think this match has the potential to be a 5-star classic. You put these teams out there, you let them go, they're going to give you a great match. Especially with the ladder match stipulation, you can expect this to be brutal. Joseph, what are your thoughts on this?
My heart is going with Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster because I love them so much. And that moment at TakeOver Cardiff when they had the crowd behind them was probably the best thing that happened on the entire show next to Tyler Bate and Walter, in my opinion. And that triple threat match was one of the most underrated matches of 2019 for me.
That's on my top 10. That's on my top 10.
Wow. That's an honorable mention for me. But yeah, I don't see them winning this match. I don't see Grizzled Young Veterans winning this match. So yeah, like you said, it's down to Gallus and Imperium. And I'm going with Imperium, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner to capture the tag team titles. Because, look, if Gallus retains here and then they lose the titles, hold on. If Gallus wins here and they lose the titles in the future, they don't have to take the pin if they lose this match right here.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same point in time, it could be argued that Gallus, they've been together for a while, and if they only have a 3-month title reign, it wouldn't really feel all that special. They've only held the title since October. I realize it doesn't really seem that much, but I just really want them to get to that 100 days as tag team champions. I love the long title reigns because it makes the titles feel a lot more prestigious.
Yeah.
So you're going to go with Imperium?
I'm going with Imperium. I was praising the last match with Bate and Jordan Devlin, but I'm going with this to be match of the night. What do you think is going to be the most craziest spot in this match?
The craziest spot that I can see is Mark Andrews doing a shooting star press off the ladder.
I agree. I think him and Flash Morgan Webster They're going to go all out in this match.
It's either that or James Drake is doing a fucking 450 off the ladder. I just hope he doesn't fucking kill himself.
I hope nobody kills themselves.
I know. I just hope no one kills themselves in this match. All right, moving on. We got the triple threat match between Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, and Toni Storm. Kaylee Ray is the NXT UK Women's Champion. Toni Storm recently returned. She had to go away. I actually like the storyline with Toni Storm going away. And Piper Niven, she has been ranking up win after win. All of these women have valid cases of why they should be in this match. Now, there's just one thing I don't like. Kaylee Ray has been NXT UK Women's Champion since August 31st. She has not had one title defense. And I don't really want to say this, but I'm always up front. Kaylee Ray has had a title reign similar to Alexa Bliss of 2017 to 2018. Now what I mean by that, here's what I mean by that. Kaylee Ray is obviously superior to Alexa Bliss. There's no doubt about it. Kaylee Ray is without a doubt one of the most underrated women's wrestlers that they got. Trust me on that. I know how good Kaylee Ray is. Kaylee Ray is great at what she does. Kaylee Ray is a great heel. But there was a period with Alexa Bliss's Raw Women's title reign where she didn't defend the title from October to February. Almost 5 months. It has been almost 5 months, and Kaylee Ray has not had one successful title defense. She has not had a title defense at all. She's been sitting around just beating people in non-title matches, which is fine. The champions look strong and all that, but at the same point in time, you know, when you have a championship, you're supposed to put yourself out there, and you know, it's not her fault. Don't get me wrong, it's not her fault. Obviously, it's Triple H's fault. It's Triple H's fault because I feel as though he's been caught up with this whole Wednesday Night War shit with AEW and Dynamite that he hasn't had too much time to focus on NXT UK, and now obviously he has pretty much ignored the fact that Kaylee Ray has been NXT UK Women's Champion for the last 5 months and not one successful title defense. Now, as far as that goes, we all know Toni Storm is not winning. Toni Storm is not going to become a 2-time NXT UK Women's Champion. It is a battle between Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray. Based on the tensions that have been brewing between Piper Niven and Toni Storm, I can see Kaylee Ray walking out of this. Kaylee Ray has not had one single solitary title defense, and if she loses it, and this is her first defense, it's really not going to make her look all that good in the end. It's really not going to make her look all that good in the end. It's going to make her seem like a one-hit wonder, like she was avoiding trying to defend the title because she knew she couldn't retain it. I have a feeling, I know that these women are going to bring it. Don't get me wrong. I know these women are going to bring it. I know these women are going to go full throttle. It is NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II. This is the first takeover. I'm not talking about just first NXT UK TakeOver. This is the first takeover period of the entire year for the WWE. So you know that these women and everyone on the card is going to go full throttle. You know for a fact they're going to go full throttle. As far as the winner goes, again, it's a battle between Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray. I'm going to go with Kaylee Ray. I'm going to go with the fact that Piper Niven and Toni Storm's emotions and tensions between each other are going to rise so much that Kaylee Ray is going to end up taking advantage. Kaylee Ray is going to end up pinning Toni Storm, and then we're going to get Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven down the line, and then Piper Niven is eventually going to become the NXT UK Women's Champion. As far as this match goes, I expect this match to be very good. I expect these women to bring it. I expect it to be physical. And I expect Kaylee Ray to walk out of Blackpool as the NXT UK Women's Champion. Joseph, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the match, I think it's going to be really good. I mean, these are, in my opinion, 3 of the best women's wrestlers in the world, especially Piper Niven. I mean, I don't watch NXT UK weekly, but I'm hearing great stuff from her, like, in the past couple weeks. I did not know that Kaylee Ray doesn't have one title defense ever since being champion. So, I feel like she needs to win now, because if she doesn't, she's going to look really weak. Like you said, she's going to look like a one-hit wonder.
I mean, she's been competing in non-title matches, don't get me wrong, but she hasn't had a successful title defense. In my eyes, they were building up Xia Brookside in the meantime after Cardiff. I definitely wouldn't have minded if you put the title on the line because they did have a match. Xia Brookside and Kaylee Ray, they did have a match on NXT UK, but it was a non-title match. If you would have put the title on the line, maybe it would have looked a lot better, and it would have made Kaylee Ray a little bit more legit in everyone's eyes. But again, I feel as though the fact that she hasn't been defending the title, that's a direct effect from AEW, because Triple H has been so caught up in what they're doing with NXT US, and he's trying to do whatever he can to fucking please Vince, because Vince is obviously going to be up his ass if NXT doesn't beat AEW in the ratings. So obviously NXT UK is gonna play second fiddle. They were slacking a bit, actually. They were slacking a bit after Cardiff, but now they started to pick up. They've started to build the storylines. They've started to put on much better matches than they were back during October and November. Now, I watch every week. So trust me, I see the ups, I see the downs, I see the high points, I see the low points, and I try and break it down to the best of my ability. Kaylee Ray's title reign has definitely been a low point. Not her fault. She's a great heel, very underrated wrestler, but unfortunately, she has definitely suffered because of what has happened with AEW and Triple H's attention being focused on NXT US.
Yeah, speaking of Triple H doing the whole NXT AEW war thing, I heard a rumor that he's had Shawn Michaels mostly go over and like run the NXT weekly shows and book some of the storylines for NXT UK, and I really like that a lot. I don't know if you heard that rumor.
I actually haven't. That's actually an interesting thought that you brought up. If he's doing that, I definitely wouldn't mind it. I just need, I would just say, one criticism for Shawn Michaels. You really got to start booking your champions to defend the title a lot more often, because it makes them seem like credible champions. The storylines have been very good. The build for TakeOver has actually been very good, outside of a few things here and there. I just don't like the fact that a lot of the champions are being pretty much subjected to only defend the title once every few months. I don't like that. It was the same thing with Walter as well. Walter hasn't defended the title since NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff.
Yeah, I agree. Again, you don't want to make Kaylee Ray look like Sasha Banks, where after Sasha Banks was women's champion, she would always lose the championship on her first defense. Like, you don't want to make her look like Sasha Banks.
Don't get me started on that. I already got my notes ready to go with Sasha Banks. Trust me, I already got my shit ready to go with Sasha Banks. I got plenty to say about Sasha Banks and how she's looked like a fucking idiot after signing another 5-year deal with this company. Oh, by the way, off topic. If we do not get Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania, Sasha is going to look like the biggest fucking idiot. Not just one of the biggest fucking idiots, the biggest fucking idiot for signing another deal with this company. But anyway, your prediction on this match, who are you going with?
I'm going with Kaylee Ray.
And last but not least, we got the main event between Walter and Joe Coffey. Some would even say that this is 1 year, yes, 1 year in the making, because it was last year at TakeOver Blackpool II that Joe Coffey was on the receiving end of a big boot from the Ring General in Walter. And that was Walter's debut at the end of TakeOver Blackpool I. This is all about faction warfare, the leader of Imperium and the leader of Gallus. I don't expect this to be the best match of the night, but I do expect this to be a very good match. I expect this to be very, very physical. These two are two of the heaviest hitters that we got in NXT UK. Joe Coffey, look, a lot of people aren't really fans of Joe Coffey. A lot of people weren't really fans of the match that Joe Coffey had with Pete Dunne. I definitely enjoy it. I think that Joe Coffey is definitely very underrated. And if you put Joe Coffey in there with the right talent, he can give you a good match. I would not sleep on Joe Coffey. As far as Walter goes, what can I say about Walter? Walter is this generation's Andre the Giant. There is no big man in the WWE better than Walter. Maybe Drew McIntyre, if you want to consider him a big man. But, Walter is the best big man in WWE right now, in my eyes. Walter has had an excellent run with the UK title. He has had an excellent run with Imperium. Sooner or later, Imperium's going to hold all the gold. As far as this match goes, I expect this match to be very hard-hitting. I expect these two to beat the shit out of each other in every possible way, shape, and form. I expect this to get ugly. I expect a lot of brutality from Walter and Joe Coffey. Those chops alone from Walter, I can feel them through the fucking television screen. As far as the winner goes, I can definitely see Walter coming out victorious. There's no reason for Joe Coffey to win the championship here. A mid-card title. Again, here's another instance in which a mid-card title would definitely benefit NXT UK. Joe Coffey is one of these individuals that is not going to be in the main event scene and is going to be UK champion anytime soon. So a mid-card title would definitely benefit Joe Coffey, as well as the numerous amounts of mid-card talent that I named before we got to the main event. I do expect this to be a very good match, hard-hitting and physical, and I expect Walter to come out victorious. And later on, I expect Walter to move on to either Jordan Devlin or Ilya Dragunov. Now, Ilya Dragunov is the eventual person that is going to take the title from Walter. It could very well happen at TakeOver Tampa. They could very well do an instance in which they did last year with Walter and Pete Dunne, and how they had Pete Dunne and Walter go out there at TakeOver New York, and Walter took the title from Dunne then. They could very well do the same thing here with Walter and Ilya Dragunov. It's definitely a toss-up, but as far as this match goes, Walter's beating Joe Coffey, and Walter will establish his dominance to end NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II. Your thoughts on this, Mr. Conlon?
Yeah, I mean, you said that this one was possibly 1 year in the making. I'm one of those people who think this is 1 year in the making, possibly building Joe Coffey up for this match. I heard that they've been building him up really nicely over the past couple weeks to set up this match, but in my opinion, there's no chance that Joe Coffey is going to win. Quite possibly, he could be a filler opponent for Walter, and I do agree with you. At some point, we are going to get Walter versus Dragunov, and honestly, that's going to be the big money match.
Do you expect Imperium to get involved in this?
I expect both factions to get involved in this, yes.
Does Walter face off against Dragunov after this? Is that his program after this? Or do they go with someone else as a filler opponent?
They could go with someone else as a filler opponent, I think. Like, they don't have to do Dragunov straight away. Like, I think it was in the summer. You were talking about Cardiff and, like, a rundown for Cardiff. And I think you brought up Dave Mastiff as one of Walter's future challengers. I could very well see that. Maybe you could throw in Travis Banks in there again. Maybe you could throw in a Ligero, because why not? I think he's really good. So, yeah, but my main guy is Dave Mastiff, and then you do Dragunov for that big money feud, and then Dragunov is eventually going to beat Walter.
Do they do it at TakeOver Tampa WrestleMania weekend, or do they wait until the next NXT UK TakeOver?
Maybe they could do Walter and Mastiff at TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, and then you do Dragunov and Walter on that big TakeOver stage, and you have Dragunov's crowning moment.
I could definitely see that happening. It would definitely be interesting to see how these storylines play out, but I definitely expect NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II to start off the calendar year for WWE with a bang, as far as takeovers go. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the rundown for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Few things. Do not forget to check out the Resurrection video and the Return video. Both are in the description. The links are in the description. Follow me on Twitter at PatroniZerDJS. Follow me on Instagram at the DJ Storms. Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to hit that thumbs up if you haven't already done so already. We are going to try and get this video to 15 thumbs up. I also want you guys to drop a comment down below. Which match do you think is going to be the best match of the night at TakeOver Cardiff? Which match are you most interested in at TakeOver Cardiff? I want you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We are just 500 away from 2,000 subscribers. Going to see if we can get to 2,000 by the summer. I also want you to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Joe, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Joseph Conlon. I'm at 913 followers. We are just 87 followers away from 1,000 followers. So if we could get to 1,000 followers by, I would say, Royal Rumble maybe, that would be absolutely huge. And make sure you guys subscribe to my Big Fight Field channel. Got some good things over there. 43 subscribers, 43, 44 right now. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers before I start allowing guests come on to my shows.
I will put both his Twitter and his YouTube channel in the description. Do not forget, go subscribe to Big Fight Field. Go follow him on Twitter. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. He's Joseph Conlon. And this has been The Rundown. And I will catch you tomorrow for the Lightning Flash update.